Hey guys, Coach B here at Black Belt. Our big mission here is to transform. It's transformation. We encourage all of our members to challenge themselves in order to build healthier lifestyles. Along with that, we challenge ourselves to give you the best possible product that we absolutely can. With that, we have created some curriculum changes, and that's what I'm going to be going over with you today. So, first off, we are now changing up our ranks so that we have 6 levels instead of 10. We used to have, white, then second white, yellow, second yellow, all those second ranks. We are going to be taking away those second ranks, and now it will only be white, yellow, green, blue, red, black. Nice and easy, 6. What this means is that some ranks are going to shift. Those that have a belt with their stripes on them, you are going to be giving a grace promotion to the next rank. So if you are a second white belt, you will be given a grace promotion to yellow. Second yellows will be put up to green. Second greens will be going to blue. And then even second blues will be going to red. With this grace promotion, there's going to be a lot of techniques that you guys will need to learn, especially for those that are getting that grace promotion to red. There's going to be new techniques in your white belt level, your yellow, your green, and your blue. Everyone's getting something new. So there's going to be a lot that you have to cover in order to get ready for your next test. So if you're getting a grace promotion, just expect to be spending a little bit more time at that rank, which is completely fine. It allows us to really hone in on all those details with what we want to work on. Next up, we have student files. So student files are going to be used to keep track of all the techniques that a student needs to work on, as well as their fitness. You will be given access to this so that you will be able to go in, you'll see all the techniques that you need to work on for each rank, and you'll also see your fitness levels. These files are going to be updated every single time you go through an evaluation or whenever you go through a test. So with that, I'm going to be going over the technique requirements for each rank. So at white belt, we're going to have a roundhouse kick, front snap kick, and fast kick, which has always been the same. All right, nothing's really changing there. And what used to be around the yellow belt techniques, we're pulling those down to the white belt level. So that's going to include side kick, crescent kick, hammer fist, and then jab and cross. With those jab and crosses, we're also going to be working not just head height, but also body height punches. Okay, so we're having level change and showing that we can still demonstrate the technique efficiently. Some of the new techniques adding in are going to be a straight knee, a side knee, knowledge on footwork, being able to shuffle, do a step, and also walks. Learning how to do a side block, both high and low, and then a double cover block. And we're also going to be learning how to pivot to follow our opponent as they might circle around us in the ring. And as a testing requirement, we're going to have, for just cadet and up, they're going to be asked to spar with an instructor for a 90-second round, showing that you have the ability to use the techniques that we've been teaching you in a sparring situation. This will be very light, very controlled. You'll only ever do these with an instructor whenever it comes to your test. For yellow, we're still going to have our spin roundhouse kick, reverse crescent kick, and back fist. That's always been the same for the yellows. We're pulling from green and bringing those down with axe kick, a hook punch, both high and low, a side elbow, uppercut, up elbow, and hook kick. New techniques are going to be a leg kick, catch blocking, single arm cover blocking, learning a step back, which is a form of evasion, learning how to do a tie clinch blocking, which is used to gain an advantage while you're in a tie clinch. And then as far as that sparring session is required, whenever you come to your test, it is going to be 3 90-second rounds with an instructor. Once again, this is only cadet and up. We're not going to be asking youth or tiny tots to be doing these sparring sessions with us. With green belt, we're going to ask that they show us their back kick, jump spin roundhouse kick, and their lead hook kick. Pulling from blue, we're going to have a double kick. We're no longer calling this dweeba. It used to be called dweeba, which is a Korean terminology. We're trying to simplify our techniques and their names, so it's going to be just called double kick. We're also going to have our knife hand and our rich hand at this level. For green belts, the new techniques are going to be shin checking, which is a block, a tie clinch framing, parrying, slipping, which is a form of evasion. And at this point, we're going to ask that they create, and they're also going to demonstrate 3 to 5 move defense sequences. And that's going to be as simple as you can say jab, cross, uppercut. Or it could be a roundhouse kick, back kick, double kick. There can be a ton of different combinations that we can create. And we're just going to ask students to be creative at this point and create 5. We're going to have 5 of those. At this level, we're going to ask Cadet and up to have 1 match for 3 2-minute rounds with an instructor. Once again, this is just Cadet and up. At Blue Belt, we're going to be working on our spinning hook kick, lead leg double kick, used to be called up ba, now we're calling it lead leg double kick. Fluency with your combinations, and you're going to display excellent intensity with any of your strikes or combinations that you throw. Pulling from red belt, we're going to be working on a jumping side kick, jumping back kick, a back down elbow, back side elbow, and then a spinning back side elbow, as well as spinning back fist. Some of the new techniques are going to be a lean back, another form of evasion, forearm blocking, those defense sequences that we talked about. Whenever you're a green belt, you're showing us 5, and now that you're a blue belt, you're showing us 10. You're going to create and show us 10. At this point, you're still going to have the first 5 that you made. These will be put into your student file. So you'll have your first 5, and then when you're blue belt testing for your red, you're going to show us your next 5. So you got to kind of see how your creativeness levels up over time. At this point, you're going to have 2 matches with an instructor, and they will be 3 2-minute rounds also. This is still Cadet and up. Don't have to worry about the youth and the Tide ever having to do these sparring sessions for their tests. So at red belt, getting ready for that black belt test, we're going to show a jump spin hook kick, a jumping crescent kick, showing that we know the difference between an advancing jump, a stationary jump, and also a retreating jump. Some of the new techniques are going to be a flying knee and a Superman punch. We're going to have triple kick and leg grabs. And now we're going to be demonstrating 15 different 3 to 5 move defense sequences. So we had our first 5 at green belt level, we had our second 5 at blue, so at red, we're having our next 5. So that adds up to 15. You'll still have the first 5 and the second 5 that you'll get to see as you progress through our system. At this point, you will have 3 matches of a 2-minute rounds with an instructor for your test. Finally, we get to the black belt level. At this point, these are techniques that you can focus on. These are not required for you to rank up in any way. This is what you get to focus on when you get to the black belt level. And that is going to be our jumping 360 hook kick, jumping 360 back kick. We have double jumping front snap kick, jump spin double kick. We have scissor kick, split kick. We have quads. And then we even have some new ones, 540 back kick and 540 hook kick. The reason why these techniques are pushed off for so long is because they require a lot of prerequisite training, learning how to spin, learning how to balance really well, learning how to control yourself in the air. That's where these come in. There's a lot of stuff that we're doing where we're jumping up, we're spinning. We're going to have good control so that we can keep ourselves safe as we practice. So those are all of our techniques, and now we're going to move on to the fitness requirements and the changes involved there. For whenever we were testing for the yellow belt, the old fitness requirements were that we would ask you to do 15 push-ups on the instructor's count, hold a plank for 1 minute, hold a squat hold for a minute, and then perform 10 burpees in a minute. Rather than drawing a line that we want everyone to cross, we're adopting a mode of improvement. We want to see people get stronger rather than having a bold line for them to cross. So that being said, our new requirements at the test for your yellow belt is going to be showing your max push-ups, how many you can do in 1 minute, your max plank that you can do, your max squats that you can do in 1 minute, and then your max burpees that you can do in 1 minute. With these max sets that we're going through, there are still going to be level caps. So for instance, if you're doing the push-ups and you hit 20, that's going to be our level cap for the yellow belt test. If you hit 20 and you're testing for your yellow, you're good. You can relax. You don't have to do any more than that. We're not going to ask that you do, because that is our finish line that we'll put up for you to cross should you hit it, all right? For the plank, it's as long as you can go or until a minute. For your squats, it's as many as you can do that minute, or 20, just like the push-ups. And then for the burpees, it's going to be as many as you can do, or 10 good burpees in 1 minute. So, at our green belt fitness levels, we had our old requirements, which were 20 push-ups on the instructor's count, a minute and a half plank, minute and a half squat hold, and then a set of 20 burpees in 1 minute. Those are our old requirements. Our new ones, after we test for our yellow belt, we're going to be looking for a 50% improvement from that yellow belt test, or to hit a level cap. So for instance, if when you test for your yellow, you got 10 push-ups in that minute, we'll look to see if you can't get 15 for this test. That'll be your minimum requirement. The maximum that you could hit would be 25 push-ups in 1 minute. At the plank, it's going to be 50% improvement from your yellow, or holding it for a minute and a half. The squats will be that 50%, or getting 25 in that minute. The burpees will be that 50% improvement, or getting 20 of them in 1 minute and 30 seconds, so a minute and a half of time now. At the green belt test, you will also be demonstrating your max amount of pull-ups that you can do. So that can be if we're pulling ourselves all the way up for regular reps, or if we can't even manage that because it is a difficult exercise, we can have other variations like Australian pull-ups, which are a little bit of an easier version that we can still improve from, get stronger, and then work our way to the regular pull-ups as well. So, onto our blue belt test. Here, we used to ask you to hit 25 push-ups on the instructor's count, getting a minute and a half plank and a minute and a half squat hold, and then performing 20 burpees in 1 minute. We will now be looking for 50% improvement on all of the categories from whenever you did your green belt test, or these level caps. For your push-ups, the level cap is 30 in 1 minute. For your plank, that level cap is still at a minute and a half. For your squats, it will be capped at 30. And then for your burpees, it will be capped at 30 in 2 minutes. For your pull-ups, we're going to look for that 50% improvement, or if we can't get 5 pull-ups in 2 minutes. So, on to red belt. We're getting ready for that red belt test, and we had our old requirements at 50 push-ups in 2 minutes. We had a 2-minute plank and a 2-minute squat hold, and we were performing 30 burpees in a minute and then running a 5K in 30 minutes or less. Now we're looking for those 50% improvements as well as having these new level caps. So the level caps for the push-ups are at 50 in 2 minutes. Level cap for the plank is at 2 minutes. The cap at the squats is 50 in 2 minutes. For our burpees, it's capped at 50 in 3 minutes. And then at our pull-ups, we are asking to see if we can get 50% improvement or 10 pull-ups in 2 minutes. The different category here is going to be the run. For our youth and cadet, we're only going to have them run 1 mile. This mile is to be under 9 minutes. Okay, this is the only one that's going to have more of that bold line that we need to cross. We've done our research and looked up on averages, and this is about where we should be when we're trying to go for this test. Another option that we can do is an air bike. So if we're not a fan of running, if we have maybe some knee injuries and we need a bike, we can have that option as well. So that will be biking 3 miles in under 9 minutes. Once again, that category is just for the youth and cadet. Now, for juniors and adults, we're going to be looking for that 5K in 30 minutes or less. Okay, we're still having that line that we really want you guys to cross. The bike is also an option, and for the juniors and adults, it will be 8 miles in 30 minutes or less. Now, finally, we've gotten to black belt. For our black belt fitness requirements, they used to be 100 push-ups in 2 minutes, holding a 3-minute plank and a 3-minute squat hold, performing 100 burpees in 5 minutes, and then performing that 5K in 25 minutes or less. For the new requirements, we are going to have that 50% improvement in all the categories with these level caps. The push-ups will follow along with it being 100 in 2 minutes. That is our cap. For our plank, it's going to be 3 minutes, capped at 3 minutes. For our squats, it'll be 100 in 2 minutes. For our burpees, it will be that 100 in 5 minutes. And now we have, should we get a youth or a cadet testing for their black belt, they will perform a 1 mile run in under 8 minutes or biking 3 miles in under 8 minutes. For the juniors and adults, we will still have that 5K run in under 25 minutes or less. The pull-ups will be capped at 15 in 2 minutes. So those are all of our changes for the techniques and the fitness. So now I'm going to talk about evaluations. Evaluations are no longer going to be run during that full week any longer. We have so many techniques and so many students that we will not be able to get through everyone in their evaluation in that week time. So now instead of having a week of evaluation, they're going to be on demand. So if a student asks to come in for an evaluation, they can. Or if an instructor asks a student to come in for an evaluation, that is another way that we'll go about it. The only exception to all this that we're going to ask people to wait on is if they have an evaluation or they just went through a test, we're going to ask that they wait 2 months. Wait 2 months in between each evaluation that you have and each test before you come in for another evaluation. This is going to give you time to focus in on the details that we went over in your evaluation to make sure you're still improving and not trying to rush it, all right? We want to take our time, make sure we're developing these skills properly so we can grow and get better in an efficient manner. The only exception to these rules, okay? So a student can only ask to come in every 2 months. The exception to that is if an instructor sees them really performing well in that month time after their evaluation or after their test. If an instructor notices a student performing very well, they can ask for that student to come in for another evaluation to get them updated so that they can test as soon as we possibly can get them, if they're ready. Another little point is if a student for some reason or another should not get evaluated for 3 months, we're going to ask that you come in anyway. If a student doesn't ask to come in or an instructor doesn't ask you to come in, for 3 months, we're going to ask that you do, all right? We're going to send you out an invite and get you in here so we can get your student file updated and we can continue to grow and get better. Now, testing. Testing is still going to be run every other month. It's still going to be on the first Saturday of that month. That hasn't changed. What has changed is that we will not be performing these in really big groups any longer. These tests are going to be individualized, so there will only ever be one student per one instructor. This is going to allow us to get very detailed in making sure that your techniques are absolutely amazing and being able to take really detailed notes that we can put into your student file so you know what you need to work on, what you need to improve with, and where you're doing amazing at as well. With these individualized tests, we're going to be able to hold targets for you. We'll be able to judge on your impact, how hard you're actually hitting your target, and a lot of the techniques that we'll be learning, like the blocking and the evading, that requires strikes to be thrown at the individual. So the instructors, we're going to put on some gloves, and we're going to throw very nice and light controlled shots toward the students and have them react appropriately. For instance, if you're working a side cover block, we're going to throw a nice and easy hook out from the side, and you're going to show us the appropriate reaction for that drill. And we'll do that with many others as well. Another piece that this is going to allow us to do is the sparring portion that I talked about a little bit earlier. The instructor themselves, as your test is going on, will be able to throw on some gear along with you, and you will move with that instructor, and they will only meet a certain point of intensity per rank. For instance, as you would have seen earlier, the white belt cadet and up that were testing for their yellows, they were performing the sparring match at 20% intensity, and that is with the instructor. That's the instructor's intensity level. That's where we're going to. We're not going to go any harder. We're really just moving and trying to see if you can move around, use some of your techniques with us. And whenever you're going for that green belt, you're going yellow to green, that intensity is going to increase a little bit. And it gets a little higher and higher as we get closer and closer to black belt, to where we can efficiently be going nice and hard, but still in a controlled manner. You'll notice that it never says 100% intensity. We're never going to be going all out. It's always going to be controlled with your safety in mind first. So with these individualized tests, we're going to have little time slots that we can come in for. We have it figured out for about how long it should take for each test. If you're a white or a yellow belt, you can expect that it may take about 20 minutes for your test. Maybe a little bit longer if we are taking our time, if we're getting a little bit of extra pieces in, but in all reality, it should take us about 20 minutes for the white and yellow belt ranks. Students that are testing for their green should take about maybe 30 minutes, possibly 40. Students that have a blue belt or a red belt that are going in for their test, we can expect that test to take about 90 minutes at the least. The reason why there's such a big jump for this ranking is primarily due to the run. And when we're performing that, it can increase the time dramatically, especially for those that are junior and adult. We're looking at about that 25, 30-minute mark that we'll be adding on just for the cardio alone. On top of that, we're going to have a lot more of the sparring matches, a lot more techniques to go through. So it's going to be a long day, but it is worth it.